This is how my workshops go.
I think she's muted now.
Okay, cool. Um, all right. So thank you, Minerva. I appreciate that. So we're in the first 5 clients workshop. I just hit record because I forgot, like I always do. And I want to give you a little bit of education before we go into the head, the heart, and the heels of getting those first 5 clients. So some education pieces for you to just jot down. One, and these are things that are pretty common sense, but we need to know them. The first is we have to have an idea of who our audience is. And I say that idea because if we don't know any idea of who our buyers are, we're going to be constantly throwing spaghetti at the wall. And I have to say, I just listened to this amazing author. I picked up her book. I heard her last week. Some of us were at the Atlanta intensive, the Hello 7 coaching intensive. And one of the speakers, her name was Pamela Slim, and she wrote a few books, but one of the books is called The Widest Net. And inside the book, it talks about building your target audience. And the way that she builds her target audience, yes, is the same way I build my target audience. So it was really cool because we both talk about how the demographics don't matter, that it's the attitude in the audience and how you do an attitude audit on who your clients are in order to figure out where to go get them. So I'm actually going to be doing a masterclass around some of those exercises coming up, and I'm going to be bringing volunteers in for hot seats inside my Women Who Soar Masters group. So keep an eye out for that. So target audience is one. Another is, what are the 4 ways that you get sales? So Minerva will tell you, I have a workshop called the Sales and Lead Gen workshop. And inside the Sales and Lead Gen workshop, you're going to find these are the 4 ways, the only 4 ways that you get sales. And it's a free workshop. It's on my website. It's very foundational work, but it's something that you can go back to over and over and over again. But it's not going to help you with the mindset. So it's not going to help you with the head and the heart. It's going to help you with the heels, getting those heels out there. And then another piece of education, we're going to dig into it a little bit tonight, is the sales skills. So having sales skills to be able to sell your offer, your product. In order to have sales skills, you need to know how to walk somebody through a conversation, aka the sales call. But we don't like to use the word sales because it freaks us out. So when I work with like one-on-one clients, I have them like come up with their own name for a call. You know, it could be the bagel call, it could be the Stouffer's call, any call you want. But if we call it sales, it immediately causes resistance. So I like to call it the non-salesy sales conversation. So inside my website, also another free workshop, grab the how to host a non-salesy sales conversation. We're going to talk a little bit about it tonight. But there's all the details. The blueprint, the guide is inside there. Okay. Are we ready? Yes, we are. What the question I have, and I want answers versus in the chat, what do you think doesn't work to get your first 5 clients? So shout some things out as to what you think doesn't work as I shut my door because my dogs are barking. What doesn't work?
Doing nothing. I was going to say thoughts and prayers, but I think thoughts and prayers and doing nothing.
Truth. So a hope and a prayer. I'm going to hope and a pray that somebody's going to want to work with me. That's the truth. What else doesn't work?
Waiting till I feel like I've really just got it like perfectly and then trying to sell.
Yeah, so that is something that Rachel really dug into last week, or 2 weeks ago, which is courage over confidence. That if you're the person that is like, I have to know this 100% before I can do it, that is fear. And if we're willing to have courage and do the uncomfortable thing instead of having confidence, we can do it. Yeah, so true. That's what we're gonna do a little bit of that tonight. It's figuring out how to have courage. What else does not get you your first 5 clients?
Busy work.
Yeah, the busy work. Yeah. So for everyone in here who doesn't know what busy work is, what's busy work?
Doing all the time-consuming things or fun things or the things that you don't really need right now in order for you to generate money.
So like a sales page or a fancy website or a funnel. Yeah, boy did I love the funnel when I first started, because I really was like, ooh, look at that shiny object. I've been teaching sales and marketing for 25 years, but oh my goodness, look at this shiny object and look at this funnel that Amy Porterfield's doing. I want to go buy her course, and that's how I'm going to build my business and how I'm going to get my first 5 clients. And so we all do that. So my story of what not to do to get your first 5 clients stems from, even though I had built out a fintech startup, and even though I had been training sales leaders for 25 years at the bank, I still had shiny object syndrome when I started business coaching. And I had a partner that worked with another really big deal coach for a long time. And she said, you guys, you're gonna laugh. She said, let's launch a course. We were right out of the gate. Both of us like didn't have clients, and let's launch a course. And so we built out this beautiful course, and we built out this beautiful funnel, and we hired the funnel strategist, and we both come from sales and marketing, and we put out this really beautiful course. And you know how I sold that course? I sold the course the same way I'm going to tell you guys how to sell tonight, because it ended up like last day, open cart, about to close. I'm like, well, this isn't working. And so we sold it the same way that I'm going to tell you guys that we sell, how you sell tonight. And I'm not anti courses. I'm just anti, don't sell the course until you know you're going to have buyers. So it's like phase 3 instead of phase 1. But all of us want to like get out there and sell the course and sell the group coaching, because we want everybody to be as passionate about what we're doing. And the thing is, we have to create that passion. They're not going to be passionate because we are passionate. They're going to be passionate because we're the ones going and helping them understand what that passion is all about. No one's ever going to be as passionate about your business as you are, ever. So that's my little story. Does anybody else have any type of similar story of their flops? There's no shame in flopping. It's where you learn. None of you have flopped.
Okay, I guess I will say that in my transition from being an art social input and like spiritual advisor into attempting business coaching, I had the idea that I wanted to launch a group program, in part because I also full-time as a professor, and I just had the feeling that perhaps it would be a better use of my time, but it was an absolute flop. I think I got about 2 people enrolled, and in reality, it probably would have just been a better use of my time to stay with the one-on-one at the high ticket level.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, those groups are hard to fill. They're so hard to fill. And if you take a peek, it's still even hard for Rachel to fill groups. It's still even hard. All those ads, all of that funnel, all of that marketing that she uses, and it's still not easy for her to fill the club. Okay. So we have our goal. We know our number with 5 clients around there. And we're going to do, so the agenda is going to be, I'm walking you through the head, the heart, and the heels. So I want everyone's head straight first. So we're going to do a mindset exercise, which is going to walk us into a heart exercise, which is going to walk us into the heels. Okay. So what I'd like everybody to do, has anybody done the thought model with me before? Okay. All right, so we're going to write down these letters, CTFAR, like this. Okay. All right, so CTFAR, and this is going to be the head exercise. So this is the mindset exercise. This is the first thing that it takes to get your first 5 clients. This is the very first thing. So if your head's not on straight, no matter what your strategy is, it's going to lay flat. And this is an exercise that you can do when you're choosing confidence over courage. So if you're like, nope, I want to do confidence, you can say, wait, Dora said I should use courage. I should walk myself through this model and see if I can self-coach myself into courage over confidence. Okay, so the C stands for the circumstance. So the situation. So my situation right now is I want to go get 5 sales and I don't know how to do it and I want to do it the right way. So that's my situation. That's my circumstance. Everybody's circumstance is the same here. So the next letter stands for thought, for T. So hence the reason why this is a thought model. We're going to work on our brains. We're going to work on our heads so we can get there. So when you hear me say, let's go get 5 clients, and you're here at this workshop because you want to figure out how, what are the thoughts that come up? Not feelings. So what cerebrally comes up in your head when you look at that circumstance for what it is. So some of the thoughts could be, I don't know how. I'm not sure I can. What if I'm not right about my target audience? What if my offer isn't what people are looking for? I've tried before and it didn't work. So I'm feeding you thoughts because I want you to think versus feel right now. What are the thinking things, the thoughts that come up versus the feel, what you're feeling in your body? And so I'd like someone to be brave enough to tell me what some thoughts were that came up.
It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it hasn't happened before. I like that one that you were saying. That one kind of came through was, it hasn't happened before. Why would it happen now? Maybe this isn't the right time to do this.
Mm-hmm.
This type of program or idea of an offer that I have.
So relevant. Yes. Mm-hmm. So all of these thoughts that are coming up, they're coming up because of exactly what you said, Christy. There are these programs of safety because of this. It takes courage. It takes a lot of courage. So if we tell ourselves it's not going to happen, then those thoughts lead to the F. And now you can vomit all of your feelings all over the paper, however those thoughts are making you feel. I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling like I have to put myself out there. I'm feeling like I don't like sales. Sales is annoying. Why can't somebody else do it for me? Can't I just hire somebody? Can I just go find a course that'll sell everything? What are all the feelings like, oof, that are coming up? One of the biggest ones that we hear is rejection. It'll stop us in our tracks. So anyone in here have that? Raise your hand. I'm afraid I'm gonna get rejected. Okay, a few of you. What are the other feelings that came up? I'm just gonna stare at someone.
I'll say something. I'm afraid that people are gonna judge me and like think that I'm really presumptuous and ridiculous for thinking I can do this.
So outside, other people's judgment affects your decision making and affects your business. I was just taping a podcast, and Gabrielle, your comment just hit me that we place judgment on ourselves as we're building our business. Like we forget this is our business. Like, ooh, one of the things to build our business is we have to let people know about our business. But when our business is us, we're like, oof. So we have to constantly be telling ourselves, this is my business. I'm growing my business for financial security, or whatever all the reasons are that you want to build your business. And it's not about you. It's about your business. But when you're the face of it, it ends up becoming about you. And you almost forget that you have a business. Any other feelings?
I can say really quickly that I feel nervous and excited. And I think the excitement is that I really love selling. I do enjoy it very much. But I think the nervousness is it's a new offer that I think I have to do like a lot of education and market research around in order to really kind of nail the language that my clients understand. And I think that makes me nervous.
Is it the new offer for DEI for coaches?
Yeah.
So what is the offer?
So, the offer, this one specifically, I think of it as like a lead offer. It's a 5-week intensive for coaches that need 1, DEI training, and 2, mission impact, vision and values, strategies and statement workshops, so that everyone can kind of nail their brand philosophy and how they're going to weave it through the operations, marketing, selling, and other decision making in their company.
So you totally have the offer. You know what the deliverables are. Is it a one-on-one or a group?
So, and this is why I think I'm nervous. I thrive in one-on-one, and I feel like I made it a group because I think I always do that when I get nervous. And so
are you allowed to make a decision to change that to one-on-one if you feel like it?
I can.
Because I mean, you get to make that decision.
Yeah, I totally can. And I think I realize that that's really what I do one-on-one with all of my clients generally. And I think I was kind of just framing it this way as like a transition. I don't know how to.
Couple more questions. I promise I'm going to get back to subject matter, but I need to know this. It's very, I have to know this. Do you have a current audience of one-on-one that need this as well?
I would say yes.
Okay. So have you pitched it to them yet?
I have, or I'm running down the list. So
Okay,
like
good.
of
Okay.
100 and so people, and
Yeah.
I'm probably like on 30
Okay.
and doing about like 10 to 20 a day.
Nice. So I would love to see separately, you can send me, I'd love to see the message that you're using to send to them, what that looks like, what the CTA is, and then what your call with them sounds like and looks like. Because this conversion for 5 clients is exactly that. What, I mean, you have a very low hanging fruit, warm audience of people that already trust you and like you. Now it's a matter of, is it a priority for them to do this? Do they actually need it? And it's your job to be, as a business owner, to make it a priority for them, to help them see that it's a priority, and how you position that and how you approach that. So I've got one-off CTAs for you to do for
That
this.
works.
Yeah. Come on, Bear. And we have some dogs. Okay. We were at feeling. Okay, so this is the next one. What do you think A stands for? It stands for action. So we know our situation. I'm going to get 5 clients, and we know our thoughts. We know our feelings. So right now, not what you want to do, but what's happening now, write down what the actions typically are. So I think this way and I feel this way. So my action is, I'm going to flight.
Don't do anything.
I'm going to freeze. I'm going to fury. I'm going to fawn. I love these F words, literally. Tell me your actions. What do you do? What do you specifically do?
More research, like more learning.
Yeah. Yes. What do you sell?
Me, I'm a brand strategist, and I'm moving into coaching for a personal brand and business coach. So
Brand strategist. So you have a systems project, finish the project brain.
yes, like big picture, strategize what needs to happen from from inception to execution.
Yeah. 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 So this whole new coaching is a completely different model on how you're going to sell it. So new. Right. Yeah.
Yes. So it feels like I need to read more, or I need to study more, or I need to figure out
Yeah.
more, because it's just different.
So the mindset for you is that you already have everything that you need right now. You have everything. That's why you're doing it. That's why you got into coaching. You have everything you need right now. You went through your Hello 7 coaching certification, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And you have the background in so you have everything you already need. And then when we walk through the reverse here, you're going to see why. You're going to see that evidence. And so if you have everything you need, it's just a matter of being able to talk about it in that fancy call that nobody likes to call a sales call. TBD around that. Okay. So any other actions that you're like,
Chase or try to make it happen.
Oh, the force. Yeah, the force. Oh, you can relate to that too. So the actions, we know what they are. And then because of the thought, the feeling, the action, Ours result. So what's the result? And the reason for this exercise is to benchmark and level set what's happening in your head. So head, heart, and heels. What's happening in your head. So Christy, you like nailed it. If we have this head saying, not for me, it's not going to work, then our result is always going to be it's not going to work. Even if we have a killer strategy, it's going to lay flat. So the second piece is the heart. Are any of you selling something that you don't love? Well, that's good news, because selling something that you love is a whole lot easier than being a plumber. That I always use the plumber reference because you think about like, I really don't love being a plumber. But selling something that you love is a whole lot easier than selling something that you're not totally bought into. So when I coach women, like my brand, you'll appreciate this. My brand is empowering women to live their purpose and create their highest earnings potential. So I can't work with you unless you're building a business that's really rooted in you and in your purpose and what you really want to do. Now, sometimes that doesn't mean that your business is like reflects exactly, like you could be building an empire around some product, but still the mission behind it is something that you absolutely love. So that's where the heart comes into play. So we're going to take a minute and we're going to reverse and look for some evidence, and we're going to engineer this thought model, or Rachel would say reframe the story. We're going to reverse engineer this thought model, and we're going to start with result, and we're going to go backwards. And the entire time we're going to be leaning into our heart, and we're going to be leaning into past evidence. Because here's the thing, when it comes to changing our mindset, especially around an area that we're not comfortable with, like sales, changing our mindset means that we have to practice looking at possibilities of evidence and looking at past evidence, so we can use that to get the courage to do. So we already know what result we want. We want 5 clients. So to get our heart on straight, I'm like, okay, I want to get 5 clients. I know where my head is right now. So what actions do I need to take in order to get this result? So we're going to go backwards. We're going to do raft. Result, action, feeling, thought. So what action do you think you need to take? And I'm going to help guide you along.
Talking to people about my offer.
Okay. Yeah. So the action to take is to have courage. And that courage comes from, can you list at least 10 reasons why you love what you do? So that's an activity, because for time purposes, but that's something I'd like you to do. I'd like you to list 10 reasons you love what you do. And that action of just listing 10 reasons is going to open up this heart of like, okay, I want to serve these women or men or your product or whatever it is. I want to serve. So I'm coming from a place of authenticity anytime I'm going to have a conversation. So the true action of courage around getting your first 5 clients is not rocket science. It is an act of building human relationships. I am old school sales and I am old school marketing, but I am also making $100,000 a month. So when I say building relationships with people, your first 5 clients isn't going to come from the sales page or the website. It's going to come from building a relationship with your client. So knowing that your clients are coming, waking up saying my clients are coming, I know it in my heart. And as long as I have these reasons of why I want to be building this business, it doesn't matter if I get rejected because I'm building a business and I'm not going to take this personally. So my job is to create passion and priority for my clients. And in order for me to do that, I need to talk to them. And I need to have at least 8 to 10 meetings on my calendar every single week until I have a demand and an audience big enough that I have a flywheel created and people are coming to me. And that is the biggest disconnect in the online sales and marketing world right now. The biggest disconnect is that if we create a funnel, they will come to us. And I would love to say that that would work, but it doesn't work until we have a big enough audience where the buyers are going to come. Like I said, Rachel has a beautiful funnel. I use a very similar funnel, but I still have calls at the end for every single sale because I don't have enough demand coming to me to just say, I'm going to sign up for a $30,000 container. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the action. So I gave you the what, but you don't have the how yet. So the how inside the action, I'm going to go through the list before we end today, so you have it. But the how is, what do I do when it comes to having these conversations, whatever you decide to name it. I'd love for you guys to email me and tell me what you decide to name your sales call, because it's always a really funny thing. All right, so going into knowing now, boy, I got to actually talk to my people and I need to have a strategy around it. I need to know I have 8 to 10 calls on my calendar every week. But Dora, I don't know how to do that yet. It's okay. I got you. Keep going down. We're building evidence here. What feeling do you have to do this?
I feel like I got to be excited and confident rather than excited and nervous.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Or just excited and have the courage. The confidence will come when you're on the call because you are the expert.
I also want to feel curious, like curious about them and like
Mhm.
finding out
Mhm.
how I might be able to help them. Like
Mhm.
just finding out more.
Yeah, we're pulling up some C words. And the one that also comes up is like, I want to be really compassionate with myself. Like I want to be curious and compassionate. Like I'm going to do it anyway, even though it's scary and uncomfortable, but I'm going to be like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so those are the feelings. And then what thoughts do we need to have in order to get the feeling we need and the action we want? So the thoughts are, my clients are coming. It is a no-brainer for them to work with me. This is my business that I get to build my way. Every conversation I have, I am going to be my authentic self, seeking curiosity, seeking true interest in them. And I'm going to be okay if they say no. I'm going to be okay if they ghost me. I'm going to be okay if I don't get the 8 to 10 calls on my calendar, but I gave it a big try. And I'm not going to say it's not working. This is my business. I gave you guys all the thoughts that you need. Been down this road a little bit. But what I do want you to do, again, is I want you to think of the evidence that you have are the reasons why you love your business so much. And it's evidence that you already have in your past. Like, this is what I've done in my past with clients, even if it was at a job, even if it was a project. It doesn't have to be the business you're doing right now, but look back and see, oh gosh, here's evidence of things that I have done and how I've made impact with people and projects. And I get to do that in a new way, my way. And I say that because it's so relevant. When I was at the bank, I loved coaching sales leaders. I loved giving them this is exactly how you go and bring in a really big deal to the bank. I get to do that with all of you. It's just in my way, a whole new way. So all the things that if you're a therapist and you really have loved having those conversations and helping people through trauma, and you're doing it a new way, that's evidence for you to lean into. Okay. Any questions about that exercise? That is called the thought model. We went through and benchmarked, and then I walked you through how to start practicing what you need to get to the result you want. And now I'm going to give you the heels, which is the how. And it's truly what I'd like you to do. And for time purposes, I'm not going to have you spend all your time because you'll be like brainstorming this. But I like to call it the hot list. And so if this is your first 5 clients and you're going to say, but Dora, I don't have these people, I want you to look again. I want you to make a list of at least 20 people that fit this criteria. They're either an ideal buyer, they know an ideal buyer, they hang out with your buyers, or they're an organization that has a big audience of your buyers. And if you watch the sales and lead gen workshop, you'll see an outline that this is very similar, only in a much broader way. I'm having you look at your target audience of ideal client profile. I'm having you look at a target audience of your partners who you can work with, not just like wing and a prayer, but work with that have the same audience but do different things. I'm having you look at your ecosystem, which has the broader audience. So, but for this first 5 clients, a list of 20 that fits that criteria. And then I want you to schedule 45-minute conversations with at least 10 of them.
Hey, Dora, do you mind repeating that list?
Yeah. They are an ideal buyer, so ideal target client, or they know an ideal buyer. They center around your buyer, so they work with your buyer. Or they're an organization that has a broad audience that's your buyer. So Hadia, like similar to what you're doing with the email that you have going out, but the CTA is that you're reaching out to say, can we please schedule a call? And then so that you want the call.
Got it.
And on the call, this is the list. This is what you're going to start practicing. And I highly encourage, if you're on this call today, and I will be sending the replay, I highly encourage you to hook up with a peer in here and role play a call before your first call. That takes courage too. So this is what happens on a call. And you can get all of the nitty gritty on this on my website, which is the How to Host a Non-Salesy Sales Conversation. I have to say, it's pretty darn good. Minerva, what do you think? Okay, but I'm going to give you the breakdown. So I made this list. I'm going to schedule 10 calls. I'm going to name it whatever I want because the word sales calls sucks. And I'm going to schedule them for 45 minutes. And this is what the call is going to look like. This is the blueprint. I am going to build rapport. Number one, build rapport on the call. Everyone knows how to do this. And then from there, it goes downhill. The second thing we're going to do, I have to make sure I have my list. Okay, here it is we're going to set an agenda for the call and an outcome for the call. The specific descriptions of all of this, guys, is in that workshop. For time purposes, I'm not going to go through it all, but this is the blueprint. The third is I'm going to have a list of profiling questions to take them down a path to see if there's an opportunity for them to work with me. My profiling questions take them down a path to see if there's an opportunity for them to work with me. Number 4, I am going to tell my story. So after I profile them, they talk first. After we profile them, then it's my turn to tell them 3 to 5 minutes about me. So during this 3 to 5 minutes about me, I'm not going to just say, here's what I do and here's my offer. That doesn't come in your story at all. Your story is your story. It gives them personal, professional, emotional. These are the story of you that's going so they can relate. Number 5 is the summary. So after you profile them, you give them a little bit of story about you. A lot of times they don't know what to do after that because you're leading the call. So if they don't ask you a lot of questions, don't be offended. It's just because they don't have this guide like you do. So from there, you then summarize. You summarize the conversation, what was uncovered. Based on what I heard, I'm hearing these things. Am I correct? That's the summary. Am I correct? And then only if you know you can solve their problem, 100% sure you can solve their problem, you're the one, they're your client, that is when you pitch at the very end. And your pitch only consists of 3 things. It's how you work with me, timeline, deliverables, and price. And it shouldn't take you more than 30 seconds to say it. And then you shut up and you let them ask questions and overcome objections if you need to. Again, the entire detail around this, whatever you decide to call your sales call, you can find on the website, and it'll go really in detail about all these. So I encourage you to listen to that before you get on your first call of 10 calls. And even before you have your peer-to-peer role play call, which I hope all of you do, because it's a really good way for you to connect. Questions around the last 10 minutes?
So if one of the calls is with potentially the person that centers around the buyer or might know the ideal buyer, would the pitch at the end wouldn't be necessarily for them, but it would be, this is what I offer. And can you refer, like ask for a referral in that way?
So I love that you brought that up. So for these 10 calls, I don't want them all to be partner calls because they're easier than ideal client calls because there isn't an opportunity for them to actually buy at the end. There's still an opportunity for them to say no, like, nope, not really anything I can do. But in the partner conversation, you don't want to leave it without a call to action. So it needs to be close-ended instead of, well, if you know anybody, it would be great if you sent them my way. That's never going to happen because people's priorities, as soon as they're off the phone with you, they're on to the next thing, just like you are. Just like if somebody were to walk in your office back in the day and hand you a card, the card went into the trash. So on the partner call, there needs to be like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to host a workshop together. We're both going to give each other 3 referrals by this timeline. There needs to be something concrete there, or it's a waste of your time. And you're going to have waste of your time calls. That's part of this. But we want to try not to. Great question. What other questions do we have? Okay. Was this helpful, guys?
Yes, it was.
This is super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my pitch time because, of course I have to pitch. Let's see how quickly I can do it. 2 ways to work with me right now. The first way is a VIP day. And inside the VIP day, we're going to do this only for you, deep dive. So we're going to get you your sales skill set up to par. We're going to get your marketing up to par. Like, this is what you should be doing. This is who your target audience is. And we're going to like dive really into that. So more than your first 5 clients. So that VIP day is $3,500. And then you can also join my master's group. My master's group is where all of this stuff lives. So all of the resources, workshops, all of this lives in the master's group. And that master's group is $69 a month. And it's unlimited. You have access. I come in and I teach. You can get hot seats, right, Minerva? So that's like a way just to come in and get to know me and to figure out if how to sell and to figure out the beginning. So those are the 2 ways to work with me right now. Questions there? Okay, I'm going to paste what I just said to you in the chat along with my scheduling link. So if you want to talk about a VIP day, you can schedule a call with me. It'll be a 45-minute consult where we can really dig in. And I'll walk you through the same call that I just told you guys to walk people through. It's the same exact thing. So, all right. I'm so glad this was helpful. Any other last minute questions? I stayed on time. Yay. Okay, all. Thanks so much. I'll be sending out the replay for you guys to dissect as well. Enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend.